How's it going, folks? Welcome back to the top 6 myths of mortgages, the series, of course, with myself and Robert Milliken. Today, we are going to tackle pre-qualification versus pre-approval and some of the subtle differences there that you may not understand, but really should, to make sure you're not getting taken advantage of by certain people out there. And it's really important to understand certain little things when you're talking about a big project like buying or selling a home. So, hope you enjoy. We'll see you next time around. Number three, pre-qualification is the same thing as pre-approval.
The pre-qualification is effectively an application. What I try to do is then get the borrower to validate what's on that application, right? So anyone can put something down on paper. Through the mortgage process, what you put down has to be validated. So if you tell me you have $1 million in a savings account, you have to show me that you have $1 million in a savings account. So pre-qualification would start there, right? Let's then document that application, okay? And then, depending on the person you're working with, I can oftentimes eyeball that and say, okay, we're fine. I know we're going to have a loan there, but it's still different. It's still would be basically you could look at it one of two ways, right? We do have to run every file through the FindMy underwriter, or in the case of USDA, the GUS, Government Underwriting Systems underwriter. Okay, and that will either give eligible or approval, or it will tell us it's not approved, right? That is then a pre-approved file, because what that tells me in most cases is accepting that scenario. Again, we're giving it a scenario. We're not putting any full documentation with it. We're just telling them this is what we have. Then it has to go to an underwriter, right? The underwriter is going to find that the scenario we gave the automated system, we can document it, okay? So we've got to be able to do both, right? So you have an approval through the system, and you have an approval under which an underwriter is saying, okay, we can document what you told it. So it's so important to be active on the loan side with that kind of process and with getting your documents to your lender, because what we don't want to do is have you guys putting money out, whether it's earnest money, option money, whatever it may be, and we can get you the loan, right? They are not the same. They are different, and be aware that even within the pre-approval, you can have a little bit of difference there.
Well, this is definitely something that's important to buyers and sellers. One of my selling points to sellers when I talk to them is when we get offers in, I call up every single qualification, pre-approval, whatever letter, and make sure they've at least verified their income and pulled their credit, right? And in the case of VA or USDA, that they verified eligibility, right? Because if they haven't done at least those 2 or 3 things, then that piece of paper is useless. Right, to the seller or anything like that. And as a buyer, you need to recognize that power, right? That power to be able to write a letter and for an agent to be able to call on an offer that you've submitted and say, yes, we've done everything we need for them. They are good to go as far as I can go without getting them in front of an underwriter. And then that's a service I know that you offer, that we can do that, a home to be named later, and get you under an underwriter and get you almost all the way there. So it's definitely, there's a difference, and people need to understand your leverage when purchasing a home in that difference, right?
Yeah, you're definitely going through kind of 2 parts within the underwrite, right? You have the underwrite of the borrower themselves, right? Assets, do I have enough money to make the down payment and go to closing? Is my credit profile good? And then you have the underwrite of the property, okay? So the property is, does the property appraise for the amount it needs to appraise for? Are there any evidence that would cause the appraisal not to be completed for some reason, or to come in low? They're really 2 separate things. So you can absolutely underwrite a borrower without a property.
Mm-hmm.
You can absolutely do that. And then we give a pre-approval to a buyer's agent. It's that much competing sometimes. I mean, I had a client the other day, a month ago, that he made an offer and there were 24 other. When you're in that kind of situation, the better you can appear to a seller, you know, like you're going to sit down with your client, and it may not be the highest dollar offer, but it may be the strongest overall offer. This isn't always the best offer. So there are two parts to that, and that's one of the conversations that I have to try to explain. Listen, if it comes to the property, not a whole lot I can do with that in terms of,
right.
You know, the agents know the market, the agents know what they're writing in terms of an offer, they know what the comps are. I don't have access to that, so that's why I rely on really good agents that know that, right? But the borrower part, we can do that up front, and you can have that finished, and we're just waiting on a property, which just strengthens your position when you make an offer.
Absolutely.